Alright, hey everybody. I am going to try some phone vlogging on my iPhone 11 Pro. It's got that super wide angle lens. I've got a little editing program put on my phone, so still waiting for my MacBook to come back. More on that at the end of the video, as I have gotten some feedback back from Apple. But yeah, we're gonna talk about some cool stuff. Again, this is that new wide angle lens for the Apple iPhone 11 Pro. If I hold my hand out all the way, it's actually quite a bit extreme. It's like, whoa, that is too wide angle, Eric. So I'm gonna hold it right there, I think is good. I am in Texas, and I have officially become a Texas resident, y'all. Yeah, I'm excited to tell you how this all worked. By the way, it's still soaking wet here. It has been raining all day here in Livingston. Not like flooding, but my particular campsite is pretty flooded, and oh, more Christmas lights. Yeah, well, you know. Got my battery operated LED lights on the front wreath here. Just takes 3 AAA batteries. I'll replace those about every 4 or 5 days. Heck yeah, and look at that. Christmas lights inside the windshield. I love it. Looking good, Miranda. This is the woodsy section, by the way, so it's getting a little darker here, but it's been dark and gloomy all day. So, the most popular question people have asked me since March of this year is, why do I have Texas plates on Miranda when you guys know that I'm a South Dakota resident? And the way it stands right now, as it's time to register the motorcycle, is that I would literally have to possibly be up in South Dakota and Texas the same month on if I can't get my registration stuff. So it just made perfect sense just to change everything up. And I got nothing bad against America's Mailbox or domiciling in South Dakota. This just simplifies everything and puts it all in this one spot here. And I do want to say my experience with America's Mailbox was fine. I don't have anything bad to say about them. And I mean, if I did, I probably would have told you and criticized. The only thing is the mail process. And as I understand, they're still working on that, trying to make it better by changing the personnel in there. But, you know, my criticism to the owner was that, hey, if I mail myself a postcard from here, from Texas to South Dakota, how come it takes a month or 5 weeks to get? They're slow. They're slow with the processing. There's no doubt about that. My Daytona 500 tickets were lost for a period before they found them. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about Escapees RV Club, or Escapers, and Livingston as a domicile, because guess what, folks? I'm already a Texas resident. Yes, I got here at 10 a.m. and by 2 p.m. I walked out of the DPS office with my paper temporary Texas driver's license and motorcycle license. And the main one, the real one, I'll get in like, I think 3 weeks. But maybe that's something different, because South Dakota gives you that permanent license right there that same day. Here I gotta wait or have it shipped to me later on the road. So there's that. But yeah, this is their office here. This is where you get your mail. They're doing some remodel on the backside, so you pick up your mail right here. But later you'll probably pick it up over there, I guess. And they have a massive campground. I don't know how many RVers there are here. A lot of people dealing with some issues like waiting for certain paperwork to come from their original state, or didn't have the right notary, or they didn't sign it. Let's go back in the RV where it's dry, and I'll talk to you exactly about how the process worked for me and how it could work just as easy for you. I'm going to give you all the tips in case you're looking for an alternative to one of the other places and want to be a Texas resident. All right, so let's go over all this. Again, I don't really want to call this a filler video, because this could be really, really, really useful information. In fact, one of my most popular videos is how I became a resident of South Dakota in one day, and how I did that all, because videos today technically are not really showing you what to do in the process of that. So I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. I do not want this video to be really long, but I want to walk you through the steps, if this is something you want to do, or how you should do it, okay? I'll get to one specific step, and I'll tell you what I did wrong and why it took me an extra 6 months to get this all taken care of. But for most people, it's going to be an in and out in one day in Texas, without even spending a night in Texas, honestly. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is pick which state you're going to go with. Escapees does Florida, Texas, and South Dakota. and you're just gonna have to do your own research and find out what's best for you. Insurance is like vehicle insurance for the RV is cheaper down here in Texas than it was in South Dakota. Believe it or not, I have no idea how that works, but I went from paying $157 a month for full-timers, full coverage insurance, down to $110 a month now for the same exact stuff here in Texas. I have no idea how that works, but I'm not going to complain. Also, medical insurance, you're going to want to look into that. I've heard that Florida is the best for RV traveling insurance, but I don't know for sure. South Dakota gets really cold in the winter, and Texas gets really hot in the summer. However, I personally see myself going through Texas a lot more than I would South Dakota, me personally. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is go to escapees.com and sign up as an Escapee member. You're going to pay about $40 a year, I think. There might be a discount if you do multiple years, but right now it's $40 a year to be a member of Escapees. And then they also have some forms online where you can pick one of 3 packages they have for your domicile address, which in my case, they have a couple different ones, but it's going to be 160 Rainbow Drive and then number. That's going to be your domicile number, and then Livingston, Texas will be your address. If you are brave enough to try this online, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you don't do this, but if you want to, you can try to add up everything you're trying to do and sign all your paperwork and get every piece notarized that has to be notarized, make sure they're originals and not copies, and then add all that up and send a check with the amount, but I guarantee you there's no way you're going to get it right the first time. Honestly, in my experience, the best way to get these things done is just to come in person. Have everything you have with you in the RV that's going to be registered in Texas, all your other cars, all your paperwork, your birth certificates, your passports. Bring everything here to Livingston, Texas, and walk in that office with a big old folder full of crap and get it done that way. That way you don't have to go to any banks, get anything notarized. You don't have to worry about anything. You're going to sign every form in front of them, and then you're going to give them your debit card, cash, or a check to pay for it right then and get your member card and get out. As soon as you have signed up and you have your new physical address, they're actually going to give you a sheet with some return label stickers that will go on your envelope that has your new address. I'm talking 15-20 minutes after you walk in there, you're going to have an address. Now, as soon as you get back in your RV after signing up, you're going to make a phone call to your insurance company. You're going to tell them, hey, I now live in Texas. I need to change everything for my full coverage insurance on my RV, my other vehicles, everything we're talking about. Get that new address updated with your insurance company, and be mindful that your rates are going to change. Most likely, I think they're going to go down from where you were, but just be aware you're going to want to make that change immediately. You can then email the forms, the PDFs, the new ID cards, and the new policy to the Livingston office there. So we're going to go right back in after I say forward this to them, and then ask them at the counter, hey, will you print that for me, the thing I just emailed you? Make sure that your new insurance cards, your new policy that she printed has the new address on it. That's going to be technically your first piece of documentation that has your address on it, your new address on it, and then we're going to go drive down the road. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that address, that physical address you have, and you're going to take your out-of-state vehicle to the vehicle inspection shop, which is about 2 miles away north of here, in Livingston, Texas, and you're going to have them inspect your vehicle. It's not an emissions test. It's a vehicle inspection where they make sure all of your lights work, your windshield wipers are okay, your brakes are good, your ball joints and that type of stuff. They just make sure your vehicle is roadworthy. In my case, it takes less than 20 minutes. It costs $7. You can fail it, and then you have to wait 24 hours. They might say you need new windshield wiper blades, or you have one blinker that's out, or one marker up top on the RV. You got to come back the next day and pay another $7. But it's very simple to do and easy to do. When you get that inspection complete, you're going to have them put that new address that you just got here in Livingston at Escapees on that form, and they're going to print you an official document that says this vehicle with this VIN number, and it's going to have that new address. I want to back up here because this is where I messed up originally, and that is because I bought an RV here in Texas. I financed that RV here in Texas. Therefore, I already had the inspection done back in April. It's not due again until, well, for some reason February, but yeah. Anyway, I got that done already, and so I already have a Texas address in a different county. Therefore, the vehicle itself, I will not get a new printout when I got my vehicle inspected again. because it's already going to have an address. So what I had to do is make a special trip down to the licensing office there. I had to change my address to the new Rainbow Drive address there and then pay $2 to get a new printout of my registration. It doesn't change the ticket or the registration in the window, but I got a piece of paper saying this is my new address, this is where my mailing address is, this is where the physical home of the RV is, and this is where all of my renewal notices go to. But most people are going to get everything taken care of at the actual inspection place. Now we're going to go to the Livingston Tax Office, and again, Escapees is going to give you information on the steps of where to go. There's actually a little map, and it shows which stops to make where at. Everything is within about 8-mile radius here in Livingston. Okay, now you're going to take these two documents. You're going to take your insurance, updated, that has your new Rainbow Drive address, and you're going to take the inspection form that has your new address. Those two pieces of documents and an ID, and you're going to go down to the tax office there in Livingston. Again, depending on who you're dealing with there at the office, you may have to just explain to them how you're going through the steps in the right order. They did try to give me a little bit of a hard time and asked me why I didn't have my ID yet. Why was I still a South Dakota resident trying to, and I said, this is the order that it is required to do. Didn't really have to school her, but she did have to call over a supervisor and say, he's trying to register this vehicle and he doesn't even live here yet. And then I told her, no, I have to do this, to do this, to do this, then to prove I'm a Texas resident. And finally, after a little bit of talk, they let it go through. Again, I will mention that Escapees will help you through this progress, but I have talked to people in this park who have been here for months and months and months trying to get it done. The best, fastest way to do it is to always do it yourself at any of these places. So you give them those documents, and then, hang on, I forgot two things. Two things that I didn't have to do because my vehicle was already registered in Texas, but you are going to have to, before you go to that tax office, get your RV weighed. You can do it right over here, right across the way, right here inside the campground. They have their own weigh station here at Escapees Rainbow Drive. You can pay to get that printout, or you can go to any truck cat service and have it weighed there, or I've also heard that sometimes you can take a picture of the gross weight. Mine's actually right here on the wall. Some Class Cs will have them inside the door, but they're going to need your gross weight and gross combined weight information if you're coming from a different state. So make sure you have that stuff ready, and then you can get your new registration for your vehicle. You're really, really close now. The last step is going to be to go to the DPS office there, which is another 2 miles away. I will warn you, it is very confusing because it's a prison. It's a jail. The entire complex, you're going to park in like almost right outside a Sallyport of a jail, but there's a tiny, tiny little building that only holds 10 people max, and that's the DPS office where we're going to get our driver's license. Now, I'm not going to go through all the different ways you can get your driver's license because there's a bunch of combinations between birth certificate and all this stuff, but it has to be, you know, it has to be original. It can't be a copy. It can't be a certified copy. So for the easiest way for me to do this is to tell you exactly what documents I brought in that worked perfectly, okay? I am bringing my old ID, which has not expired, your driver's license from another state, which has not yet expired. I'm bringing in my passport, which also has not expired, my social security card, my new vehicle registration that I just got at the last stop with my new address, my insurance card with my new address, and my vehicle inspection paperwork with my new address. While you're waiting in the lobby, this part took about an hour and a half, but while you're waiting in the lobby, you're going to fill out the new driver's license application. It's a 2-sided form that you need to fill out. Got called up there. She was very impressed that I had all the paperwork I needed. I do not think she asked me a single question, just typing away, doing everything like this, and then all of a sudden she said, okay, we're going to do your eye test. Then we took a picture, then we do a 2 thumbprint identification thing, and then she said it's going to be $40. Just $40, that's it. I have to kind of go back here and say something else. Because like I said, my situation was a little different with the RV already being registered. You need to understand that if you did not pay any sales tax in another state when you originally got your RV, that you are going to have to pay the difference in sales tax. Washington State is really high, and some other states are really high, but you know, if you bought your RV with a 7% sales tax, and Texas has a 7.5% sales tax, you are going to have to pay the difference in sales tax on the value of the RV at the registration office. And sorry, I just forgot to mention that. I was kind of just explaining it how I go through it, but I do want to give you as much information as I can based on what I've heard and what I've realized from other people, right? They are going to give you a paper ID, not a real ID like South Dakota, and she said it's going to be 3 weeks. So that is going to be mailed here. I'm going to hit the road, but since I signed up for the scanning service, I'm going to log into my Escapees account, and they're actually going to email me when I get any mail, scan it, show me a picture of it, and then I can set up where I want it to be forwarded to. They're going to take it out of my $50 postage deposit fund, and I'm going to get it physically. So you don't necessarily need that $10 a month scanning service. It just kind of helps me know what's there. Some people would just know that it's going to be there no matter what. If it says they got mail, they're going to say, well, it's been about a month. I'll bet it's my ID, my new driver's license. Also, the motorcycle endorsement from South Dakota and Washington State, that transfers over automatically, but Texas doesn't call it a motorcycle endorsement. So all my old IDs said endorsement, motorcycle. Texas just says the class of driver's license is a CM. So I have a Class C driver's license, which means that's the biggest one you can get, 26,000 pounds, and I think 16 passengers in a vehicle, and then the M stands for motorcycle. So it's written in the class, not the endorsement, but yeah. It's automatic, and it is a, 7-year license, so it doesn't expire until 2026. However, as you know, Texas vehicles need to be inspected every year. And again, you're probably thinking, Eric, why would you do that? It means you have to be in Texas every year for your motorcycle and your RV. No, there is a loophole specifically for travelers and people like us that might not have planned to come back during that 3-month period, the 90 days before it expires. So what they do is they give you a break. They give you an extension on the actual vehicle inspection. So let's say I'm up in Maine and my tabs are expiring next month. I can do it all online. I can have my new registration sticker mailed out to Escapees, and when it gets there, I have it shipped up to Maine, put it on the front dash. It doesn't go on the tab, the license plate on the back in Texas. It goes on the windshield for some reason. And then what happens is I won't get in trouble until I come back to Texas. As soon as you re-enter Texas as a Texas resident who has not yet done their annual vehicle inspection, you have 3 days to get that done. Okay? And again, nothing really changes. It's just something automatic in the system. So once you get it done at any shop, it does not have to be from Livingston or Polk County. It can be at any accredited state inspection facility in Texas. Just do it within 3 days of getting back, and it's going to be fine. You're not going to get in trouble. You don't have to come back to Texas every single year the same time. You don't have to. But before we go any farther, everybody is always interested in the cost associated with transferring your domicile from another state. So let's go over the cost that I paid and that you're probably going to pay so you can understand this little breakdown. So your vehicle inspection is going to cost $7. It could cost more if you fail and have to come back another day. I did have to pay $2 for the new printout for my registration, but you won't have that cost. Your Escapee membership is going to be $40 no matter what. That is going to be an annual cost also. Your annual domicile cost to the Escapees, it's going to range from, I think, $195 to possibly up to $250. Like I said, I got the middle category that was $215. Your postage deposit is $50 the first time. You can add money to that throughout the year, however you like. Scanning service that I'm paying for is $10 extra a month. To register your RV, mostly, this is an average, but this is the exact number that I paid back in February. It was $210 to register my RV, my Class A RV for the entire year. That's going to be reoccurring. That's what you're going to pay at the office. Similar to that, I would say, in Texas for your RV. Like I said, you may have to pay a tax if you didn't pay enough tax in the state that you're coming from, depending on how that works. I didn't. I think most people won't, though, but something to consider. And then your physical new license itself is going to cost $40. So the total for me in 1 day and 4 hours, I spent $574 to become a Texas resident. And again, some things to consider are the reoccurring annual fees that I can't do anything about. I'm going to have to pay the membership of $40 every single year, $215 a year to renew that membership, and then I'll be adding postage deposit as we go through that time as well, so that I can continue to get that stuff forward to me on the road. So there are those costs. It's literally almost identical to the costs of South Dakota. Not even kidding you. Almost the same exact price. So, there you go. Let's see. Did I cover everything? Any questions? I can answer some questions in the comments below. I'm a first-time Texas resident. They obviously have a lot of people who have done this in South Dakota, Florida, and Texas. But, you know, for me, this just makes everything a lot more convenient, and I am proud to be a transplant Texan, y'all. Yeah, see? Astros. To give you a little bit of... It's actually Game 7 tonight, and Texas is just going wild around here. I'm about less than 100 miles from Houston, where they're playing Game 7 tonight. And as I alluded to earlier in the video, I did get word back from Apple. They have diagnosed my MacBook, and they have given me a quote of about $1,900. $1,900 to fix the screen, the power port computer board, and they're going to replace the battery under warranty. There's no cost. So basically $1,900 for a new screen, new power port, and I told them to simply mail that back. I am excited to be visiting an Apple store in a few days when my new MacBook Pro arrives. Very, very excited. Excited. But like I said, all this needs to be edited on my phone still and uploaded from my phone, which seems crazy. But it's all good. Just want to let you all know I'm doing really well. Really excited about the future and kind of getting out of Dallas and everything. So we'll chat soon. And I'll keep up these little videos until I can actually start editing again normally, okay? All right, bye guys. Go Astros.